find out. Everything runs through.
Tech and tortillas.
Everything runs through.
Tech and tortillas.
All right, Clemson goes to Texas for this next playoff game. Big one here. Texas
Wait,
favored
can I
by
tell you one
12.
more thing? Can I tell you one
What?
more thing? I
What?
was reading the ticker on the bottom, and I see how, like, for the name of the bowl game, you put the actual name, right? So it's like sponsored. For a second, I'm like, did we get sponsored by Union Pacific Railroad or whatever the hell it was?
Yes, we did.
Working on the night shift.
I was like, man, this is a big deal. Presented by Allstate.
We're
We
This
made
is
it.
Second Tortilla is brought to you by Tax Slayer.
Did you forget
Tax
to do your
Slayer.
taxes?
If it's tax season, you're slaying. All right. Enough.
All right.
giggles.
Clemson at Texas. Texas favored by 12 over under 51.5. Troy, who do you start, Arch or Quinn?
I think you start Arch, but I think with that, the game's going to be a lot closer. And I also think Clemson is God's team. Dabo Sweeney. You ever heard of him? So I think just with that, it may not be enough to win, but it's enough to cover, damn it.
Yeah. No, I guess if you say so. So what? That means you're taking Texas with Clemson covering?
Yeah, I think it's just enough. I mentioned the wake-up call that Nick didn't appreciate in the last game, but I think Texas gets a wake-up call, and I think they could have to consider starting Arch Manning for the next game in this one.
I just think
Clemson
it's
makes
funny
it
to
close.
think that they're awake now. Like, no. Everyone's awake. It's the playoffs.
That's what they
Playoffs?
like to think.
Hey, Nick, I'll throw it to you. If you have two quarterbacks, how many do you have?
0.
Oh, God. Who you got in this one?
Is there a I didn't know. Is that on my screen? What is that? It's a glare. Is there? It's a unidentified. It's a UFO. You see it on my screen? It's a what's it called? What are the drones?
No, that's an aspiration.
The drones in New Jersey. It's on my forehead.
They've made Nick's forehead.
Yeah. Anywho, we had to shut him up. Is there some competition right now between Arch and Ewers?
No,
Or is
they just
that
ask
even
that.
being funny?
They just ask that all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's a conversation.
Clemson's a weird team this year. They've had some high highs and some low lows. So I don't, to be honest, I think UT's offense isn't great. They don't ever seem to, at the beginning of the year, they were scoring a lot of points, but once they got into conference play and started playing better teams, they seem to not put up points like they used to. However, their defense is legit, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to be able to hold Clemson to a smaller amount of points than they're going to score. So we'll see what happens. But I'll pick Texas. I'll pick Clemson to cover, though. I'll pick Clemson plus 12. But Texas is going to win, unfortunately. And I think under 51.5.
Yeah, Texas will win this game. Under is probably not a bad play. I wonder if Clemson scores double digits in this game. Texas is going to shut down Clemson. I'll take Texas to win. I'll take them to cover the 12. It won't be close.
Oh, you don't even? Okay. No.
Something that would be interesting too is it makes me think of would the two quarterbacks if not Quinn, but if Manning was to come in, it's not totally different style, but the dual threat nature of Manning is a lot different than what Ewers offers, especially with that hurt ankle. It kind of reminds me of when A&M had Marcel Reed come in against South Carolina. I do think Dabo's going to prepare the team for both of those types of situations. But yeah, there's a lot on that UT defense to be concerned with.
Yeah, Troy, I completely agree. It reminds me of when Bobby Boucher came back at halftime and led the Mud Dogs to the Bourbon Bowl. Same type of thing we're talking about. So I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. But I will say, I feel like if UT, I feel like they're doing Quinn a solid, but like I think they would be better with Arch playing. Like I think they would score more points. I don't know if you guys
It
get that
does.
feeling.
I don't know. It reminds me of that time when Happy hit that putt through all the wreckage on the golf course when no one believed he could even make it. You just got played as it lies. And he did.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that time when Billy Madison went in and had to get the final test answer right versus the New Orleans, whatever they call them, and he did. It's pretty
It
impressive.
kind of reminds me of the time when QB Halloween had to give that speech in front of all those kids, and he accidentally showed up in pee-soaked sheets.
And
Makes
some
you
say
wonder.
that wasn't an accident.
It was a statement.
The initial stain or showing up in the stain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
fair.
they have their thermostat.
What other Adam Sandler movies we got?
I think we went through a decent amount.
Some say it was in the movie Click when he's in the rain and he falls and he's dying and it's really sad.
Yeah, with that.
What about the movie Spanglish? What about the movie Uncut Gems? All right, moving on.
All right, guys. We've gone way too far in the deep end on this one. Even Scuba Steve couldn't get us out of there. So we'll go ahead and move on to